They told stories of the temple lost in vines, but none warned about the mirror. Rango stood frozen before it. Something ancient pulsed in the stone. The jungle behind him felt silent, too silent, and in that silence, the broken shard, lying at his feet, shimmered almost like it was breathing. Something watched him from the glass, not with eyes, but hunger. Inside, time felt wrong. The hall stretched further than it should. Statues half cracked seemed to turn slightly when unobserved, and at the far end, a mirror taller than any door, cracked like a spider web. It didn't reflect the room, it reflected memories. Rango approached, and for a second, his reflection grinned when he didn't. His fingers barely brushed the mirror, and then it happened. A pulse, a flash. His body flung backward, but the room didn't follow. He was pulled through into something else. It wasn't the temple anymore. The air crackled, the colors bled. Rango had crossed into a realm that mirrored his world, but twisted beyond reason. Trees leaned where they shouldn't. Leaves whispered secrets. The sky was a swirling violet storm of shadows. Everything was familiar, but cursed. Even his own shadow lagged behind, moving just a second too late. He had crossed a threshold that no one was ever meant to survive. The ground reflected more than just the sky. It showed his worst versions. One crawled, one burned, one screamed endlessly. As he stepped forward, the reflections mimicked failure, taunting him with what could become real. And deep below, one image stared at him with hollow eyes and mouthed his name. A village floated above the jungle, upside down in the clouds, like forgotten memories clinging to the sky. Lanterns swayed from invisible winds. Shadows walked rooftops watching. Rope ladders dropped like invitations. But Rango knew this was no safe haven. This was a test. He entered the rotting house. Chairs twitched. The fireplace lit itself. The walls breathed. Blood-stained portraits of himself lined the walls, each more distorted than the last. The house wasn't haunted by spirits. It was haunted by his regrets. Mirrors, endless mirrors. Some showed him older, some younger. One showed him screaming. Another showed him dead. Every step echoed across timelines. They whispered to him, "You've done this before. You failed every time." But one reflection lingered. It didn't blink. In a chamber where light itself curled, a floating black orb held the first shard. It pulsed like a heart. As he reached for it, shadows whispered promises. "Take it, and we'll let you forget." But forgetting had a price, and he was about to pay it. Just as his fingers grasped the shard, it came his mirror twin. Black eyes, no soul, same face. But the voice, not his. It hissed, "You're not supposed to be here." Then it lunged. This world wasn't empty. It had been waiting for him. The graveyard stank of metal and regret. Tombstones bore names he hadn't heard but somehow remembered. And through the fog moved a beast, jagged, glinting, alive. A creature made entirely of mirror shards. It didn't walk. It scraped. Falling endlessly through darkness, he landed in sand. But it flowed upward. Thunder cracked from below. Here, nothing obeyed rules. Time bled. Logic failed. And something in the distance crawled on the sky, coming closer. He found the blind creature inside a mirror cave. Its stitched mouth trembled with soundless screams. It gestured warnings in the glass. "Don't collect the shards. They remember." Rango felt the truth. It wasn't just a warning. It was a prophecy. The bridge was fragile. Below it, nothing. Not black, not void. Just absence. Beneath him, hundreds of reflections screamed versions of himself falling, begging, shattering. And every time he blinked, the glass beneath his feet cracked a little more. He ran. Behind him, a shadow rode a skeletal beast, its face identical to his own. It screeched, "Why do you run from what you already are?" The trees bent away from it. The forest feared it, and so did Rango. He found a carnival frozen mid-joy, clowns in mid-laugh, rides stopped mid-spin. But when he turned his back, he heard motion footsteps, gears grinding. The joy was never real, just bait. The carousel's mirrors showed no reflections. In the center sat a doll, its porcelain chest cracked, shard glowing inside. As he reached for it, the music started playing backwards, and the doll blinked. A maze of mirrors, none showing the same reality. Voices bounced between the glass, screaming things he never said. He smashed one. A staircase lay behind it, but now the voices screamed louder. They knew he found a way forward. A lake stretched before him, still as death, his reflection drowning, but he stood still. As he leaned in, the reflection tried to pull him under. He backed away, but a wet, cold hand touched his ankle. This room wasn't physical, it was memory. Walls scrolled with glowing red text, each one a moment of guilt. He saw himself leaving someone behind. The glass didn't forgive, and neither did the past. The burning deer spoke without moving. Its flames formed words in the air. Give me a memory, and I give you a shard. He closed his eyes, gave up the moment his father disappeared. The deer vanished, the shard remained, but something inside him was now empty. The sky cracked, trees bent inward. The world was folding in on itself. Mirror shards rained like hail, and a voice echoed across the land. You're running out of time. Even this twisted place had limits. The city above him screamed. Buildings collapsed in silent implosions. Streets mirrored his face, cracked. He dodged falling debris, each piece whispering truths he didn't want to hear. The storm was here. The final room floated in nothingness. Glass shards hovered midair, showing moments of truth, his lies, his fears, his doubts. He pieced them together with trembling hands. The mirror began to reform, but it wasn't just a doorway, it was a choice. The monster burst in a warped Rango made of broken pieces, stitched by pain. Its eyes glowed red. Its voice was layers of his own. You can't escape me. I am you. The fight for his soul had begun. They clashed, blade against claw, mind against madness. The room shattered with each blow. The ground cracked. The mirror pulsed violently. If he lost, he wouldn't just die. He'd be erased. With the last shard in hand, Rango whispered a name only he knew. The monster froze. A trap activated. The mirror consumed it, dragging it into a prison of light. But a price was paid. Rango lost his reflection. Forever. A tear in the sky appeared. White light poured through. He climbed floating shards, every step threatening collapse. The world screamed behind him. The portal shimmered. His only hope of returning was through pain. Rango burst out into the real jungle, collapsing on moss and roots. The temple was silent, the mirror gone, but his eyes, they had changed, and somewhere deep inside, something else had come back with him. He walked away in the morning light. Birds chirped, life resumed, but as he passed under a tree, his shadow stayed still for half a second longer, then followed. It smiled just slightly. He didn't notice, but the mirror did.